Good afternoon. Welcome to Rice Public Radio. It's April 1st, 2019, 1:23 p.m. It's cloudy in San Francisco, but hey, it's a great time to make a podcast. I got some things I wanted to talk about today, including AIPAC and antisemitism. So this week, AIPAC held its annual policy conference in the Capitol, and many United States lawmakers went and attended and spoke, including Vice President Mike Pence, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They used this event to bash Representative Ilhan Omar. And just a little bit of context, Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota made some big headlines a couple months ago regarding her statements on AIPAC's undue influence on American politics. Representative Ilhan Omar stated in a tweet that, quote, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby." And she used this quote to reference AIPAC's influence on American politics. I guess it was also part of a song as well, but since I'm horrible at modern pop culture, I won't go there. She also talked about American politicians' dual loyalty to Israel. In the context of that statement, she was stating that American lawmakers, there's this de facto allegiance or de facto support for Israel, that you're not allowed to criticize their policies, you're not allowed to question the relationship between the United States and Israel, and you're not allowed to criticize them at all. So again, lawmakers at AIPAC took time to just bash Ilhan Omar without saying her name. Ilhan Omar never said anything about Jews. She never used the word Jew. So all these claims about anti-Semitism are completely bogus and are done to smear her name. So Vice President Mike Pence stated that recently a freshman Democrat in Congress trafficked in repeated anti-Semitic tropes, alleged congressional support for Israel, reflected an allegiance to a foreign country. So let's unpack this a little bit. So what Mike Pence is referring to is the statement about dual loyalty made by Representative Ilhan Omar. About how there's this unquestioned loyalty to Israel and the alliance between the United States and Israel. And basically Mike Pence is stating that to call out this support, to call out this alliance of United States and Israel is anti-Semitic. And it's absolutely absurd because imagine if someone in the administration was Iranian, if someone in the presidential administration was North Korean or Russian or Venezuelan. You think our lawmakers and media networks would just let that go? They would probably jump on that and, question that person's loyalty to the United States. Just look at Fox News. Judge Jeanine Peru, I can't pronounce her name, but she'd made, and she was trying to call out Ilhan Omar's supposed anti-Semitism, and after that, she jumped into an Islamophobic tirade against Ilhan Omar wears a hijab. Oh, she must be practicing Sharia law, and Sharia law is, against American values and the Constitution. So, basically questioning her allegiance to the United States. So when media figures and lawmakers peddle in Islamophobia all the time, including the Trump administration. Yet here's Mike Pence stating that, you're not supposed to question this relationship between the United States and Israel. Even House Majority Leader, Democrat Steny Hoyer joined in the discussion, stating, "When someone accuses American supporters of dual loyalty, I say accuse me." So he's trying to make it sound like he has big support for Israel, that when someone accuses Americans of being, loyalty to both countries, he says he'll be the first one to say, I have loyalty to Israel as well. And this is just circus show grandstanding by Steny Hoyer. It's absolutely sickening. And finally, perhaps the most egregious of them all, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer weighed in. When someone looks at a neo-Nazi rally and sees some very fine people among its company, we must call it out. When someone suggests that money drives support for Israel, we must call it out. And Chuck Schumer, let's slow down and unpack this. Chuck Schumer, he's equating Donald Trump praising neo-Nazis to Ilhan Omar calling out money in politics. So remember Charlottesville a couple years ago where there was this massive protest between anti-racists, anti-fascists, anti-white nationalists, and on the other side there were white nationalists, racists, bigots, neo-Nazis. And Donald Trump said there are good people on both sides, basically making them, equating both of them, saying that both of these factions are equivalent to one another. And Chuck Schumer used that and compared that to Representative Omar calling out money in politics, saying that, oh, we should call that out too. We should call out her statements. That is absolutely shameful. Money in politics is a very important issue for many American voters. We want our politicians and lawmakers to represent the United States citizenry and not some, corporate entity, not some foreign entity. We don't want our politicians to be bought and paid for. And I find that his statement about when someone suggests that money drives support for Israel, we must call it out. Then what the hell is AIPAC? What the hell is this AIPAC lobbyist group? And it's funny that Chuck Schumer is stating that we have to call out that money drives decisions in policy making. That lobbying influences the American government. And he's calling this out by making a speech for a lobbying organization, AIPAC. What type of, does he understand the irony? And I find it funny that they spend more time attacking Representative Ilhan Omar than talking about the Pittsburgh synagogue shootings that was actually motivated by anti-Semitism. Representative Ilhan Omar never once used the word Jew or Jewish people in our comments. And you're spending more time stating that she's anti-Semitic than actually condemning real acts of violence against Jewish people. That's absolutely shameful and absolutely disgusting. You see, this tirade against supposed anti-Semitism is all a charade. Do policymakers and representatives at AIPAC call out the Trump administration about their Islamophobic bigotry, about their demonization of immigrants, of people from Central America? No. They're attacking Representative Ilhan Omar because she's questioning this relationship between the United States and Israel. Do representatives at AIPAC call out Judge Deneen Pirro at Fox, who made Islamophobic comments? Do they talk about the demonization of and all this, the constant anti-Semitic tweets of, George Soros buys elections. George Soros created the caravan. He paid all these protesters to do all sorts of things. No. It's because these politicians and lobbyists want to preserve the United States-Israeli alliance. We as Americans should call this out. Because if we're real fighters for human rights, for democracy, we should question AIPAC's influence on American politics. We're giving billions of dollars of aid to Israel, we're selling arms to them, and we turn a blind eye to Israeli atrocities done towards the Palestinian people. Look, and I just want to tell the listeners out there, I think it's completely fair to say it's okay to support Israel. It's okay to support Israel's right to exist. But we should question what that looks like. What does support look like? If we're fighting for human rights and democracy, we should question Israel's relationship with the United States. The United States gives billions of dollars in aid to Israel every year. We sell them arms and weaponry, and we turn a blind eye to the atrocities committed by Israeli security forces on the Palestinian people. Israel controls all access to the Palestinian territories. They control all the resources. They're doing these illegal settlements that have been condemned by the United Nations. And they're shooting protesters, including children and women. And so we do, as American people who are interested in human rights all around the world, we do need to question AIPAC. We do need to question our relationship with the Israeli government. Already, the United States government is trying to stem the criticism of the Israeli-United States relationship. Several states have passed or are attempting to pass anti-BDS laws. BDS stands for Boycott, Divest, and Sanction. The movement is about boycotting goods made in the disputed territories in Israel and trying to put a financial and economic dent on the economy of Israel. The United States is trying to criminalize this behavior by passing laws that would deny federal contracts to organizations who are participating in this boycott. And we have lawmakers that are supportive of this. This is against free speech. They're willing to go against the United States Constitution just to preserve that Israeli-American alliance. To be fair, they're not making boycotting Israel illegal. But by penalizing people who do this boycotting, they're effectively curtailing free speech. And these anti-BDS laws must be opposed. I personally do not foresee these laws passing, as I believe the ACLU has already opposed these laws and will do everything in its power to fight them. Thank you for listening to Rice Public Radio. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us at www.thericeclub.wordpress.com. Thank you and have a great day.